A line segment AB with a midpoint at 3, 5 is located in the standard XY coordinate plane. If point A is 2, 7, what are the coordinates of point B? So we have A and B. Midpoint of 3, 5. And then A is 2, 7. So we're looking for B. So this has to be the result, for instance, in the 3 case, of 2 plus an x value and then divide by 2. So what can I add to 2 and then divide by 2 to come up with this? 4. Yeah, and there's only one 4 up here, so the answer has to be A. For what real values of t is that expression defined? Well, it's going to be all values of t except something, because that's what all the choices are. You cannot have a 0 in the denominator, so t squared minus 4 equals 0. If you factor that difference of 2 squares out, I'm using an x, even though the variable is t. X could not be negative 2, and x could not be positive 2. So it would have to be h. Which of the following expressions is equivalent to that expression? So we have to get rid of that negative exponent. So instead of negative b, you're going to have 1 over negative b, and that's going to be squared on the bottom. So that's really 1 over b squared. So we'll use that piece and we'll copy it down here. Just some scratch work up top. And then minus a squared. Now you can do this by getting a common denominator of b squared. But if I put a b squared on the bottom here, I have to put 1 on top here. So I'd end up with 1 minus a squared b squared over b squared.
But why would you get...
On this problem, you're going to have to find something that you can put in for x that will still make this inequality less than 0. If I put a 2 in there, 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 4, is that less than 0? No, so it can't be 2. What if I put a negative 2 in there?
No.
Won't work out. Still give me 4, and then it'll be 0 less than 0. So negative 1 would work, 0 would work, and 1 would work. Anything outside that range is not going to work.
The
Answer is K. Alright, so if cosine theta equals square root of 2 over 2, how about drawing a right triangle like this and calling this theta there? Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so square root of 2 and then 2. So what are the possible values of sine theta? You could go through and do this. You could do square root of 2 squared plus b squared equals 2 squared, which is 4. If you square this, it's going to be a 2. So move it to that side, change the sign. B squared equals 2. So b would have to be square root of 2. So if you put square root of 2 there and do sine opposite over hypotenuse, square root of 2 over 2 is a possibility. It's 1. But this isn't the only triangle you can draw. You can come down here like this and look at your 3 different quadrants. And the one we just chose could be this. So if you go back that way, that would make the square root of 2 negative there. And still you would have this positive square root of 2, and this would be a positive 2. If you go back this way, that's a positive square root of 2, positive square root of 2, and a positive 2. Come back this way, you still have a negative square root of 2, but this one is also a negative square root of 2, and that's a 2. And then come back this way, still a positive square root of 2, but this is a negative square root of 2, and at that distance is going to be 2. Alright, so if we make each of these sine theta. We'll switch over to green. Square root of 2 over 2. Alright. And then this one, square root of 2 over 2. That's still one of the choices. But this one's a negative square root of 2 over 2. Is that one of our choices up here? 1 and 2. And then over on the bottom right, you would have a negative square root of 2 over 2. So that comes up twice. So it could be this one and this one. 1 and 2 is letter C. If you missed this one, you failed for the 9 weeks. Alright, so this is E. E is volts, and it says you have 12 volts. I is amps, and it says you have 3 amps. You have to search for the ohms in here, and that's going to be R. 3 times 4 is 12. G. If you want to get rid of the radical term in the bottom, I'm just going to mark over this and make this a multiplication sign. And you're going to multiply the top and the bottom by this. 2 minus the square root of 3.
That is exactly what I got.
So on the top you would get 6 minus 3 square root of 3. And then on the bottom, the reason why you make it the same terms but change the sign is because it will wipe out the radical sign, much in the same way that a difference of 2 squares wipes out the middle term. So when you multiply this, you would have 4, and the middle terms will be gone. And then you end up with minus 3. Because you could have a 2 square root of 3 and a minus 2 square root of 3, and they would cancel out to 0.
So Andrew,
So 6 minus 3 square root of 3, and that's a 1, so it's gone. Answer is D. Given the equation, the absolute value of negative 2 minus x, close the absolute value, equals 6, which of the following could not be true? It could not be true. Well, let's look at these easy ones. If I put a 4 in there, negative 2 minus 4 is a negative 6. Absolute value is 6. So that's out. What about this one? If I put in a negative 8, that would give me a positive 6. That one is out. All right, let's take a look at this one. Negative 2 minus x. Negative 2 minus x. Is there anything that I could put in there that would make it come out to be 6?
yeah.
What could I put in?
I don't know how I'm gonna pick them.
I could put in a negative 8.
Yes.
Remember, when you go to solve these, you have to do this, and you also have to do this. You have to do both of those. So that would still be a possibility, and that would still be a possibility. So the one that can't be right would be F. A rational number is a number that you can generate from a fraction. For example, 4 is a rational number because you can generate it by doing 8 divided by 2. And negative 3 is a rational number. You can generate that by negative 6 divided by 2, or even negative 12 divided by 4. Anything that you can create a fraction from, that's going to be a rational number. Up here, the square root of 1 over 49 is 1/7. 1/7 is a fraction, so that's a rational number. That's a mixed number. That's a rational number. That's a decimal, 0.6. You can create that by doing 3 over 5. That's a rational number. That's a perfect square, and I believe that's 18. So when you do the square root of 27, you're going to come back with 5 point something that just keeps on going out, and you can't create the square root of 27, the decimal form, from a fraction. So the answer is going to be C. A sphere with a volume of 4/3 pi r to the third has a radius of 3. A right circular cylinder, V equals pi r squared h, has a radius of 6. What is the height of the cylinder if the cylinder has the same volume as the sphere? Alright, so we'll go this way. We'll do the sphere first. So volume equals 4/3 pi r to the third, that's going to be 27. When you cancel there to get a 9, you're going to come up with 36 pi. That's for the sphere. What is the height of the cylinder if the cylinder has the same volume as the sphere? So 36 pi equals pi r squared, and we'll do r squared, and then we're going to have h. Okay, so we're looking for the height. Now, what about the r squared in here? Yeah, you're going to put in a 6 in there. 6 times 6 is going to be 36. So the height of it would have to be what? 1, yeah. So that'd be K. We have 4 answers. 3 are different. We have G, H, H, and F. The measure of the inscribed angle, ACB, in the circle below is 90 degrees. If the circle has a radius of 5 units, what is the length of arc AB? Well, yeah, you're going to connect up through here. You can do that. And if you go through here like that, that should also be 5 there. And you'd have a right triangle in here like that. And there might be something that you could do with that, but if this travels through this, then there's no need to do anything else. It would be 180. So there's the solution. I did it on the card ahead of time. And the answer should come out to be 2.